Welcome back, guys. It's been a fair few couple of weeks since I've done a review, but today we'll be taking out the Softail Lowrider S that I'm really excited to see what all the hype's about. But let me just chuck something else in the mix: Dyna Lowrider S. So without further ado, let's kick into the specs. Now we've seen all the specs, let's have a listen at this exhaust system. So we've got an S&S 2-into-1 pipe with an S&S air cleaner. So without further ado, let's have a listen and hear what this beauty sounds like. So that's a super sweet sounding pipe, if I do say so myself. Now, one of the things I do like to show you guys is, in terms of the ergonomics of this bike, how do I sit, how do I look on this bike, and how does it feel? So as I'm going around to the bike, I'll switch to the B-roll of my camera. So as I sit on the bike, it is a mid-control foot system. For me, I must admit, guys, it's not super comfortable. I would prefer on this bike a forward control, which I did on the Softail Street Bob, and for me that is a better positioning for this bike. But in terms of the bars themselves, I do like the risers. It's just below my shoulder height, which is good enough for me. So as I mentioned, the only thing that I would change is the foot control and moving that to a forward rather than a mid. Looking at the hand controls then, on the left hand side you've got your main beam and headlight, you've got your cycle button and then your horn. Beautiful. Then you've got your left self-cancelling indicators. Then moving to the right hand side, you've got engine, stop, start, your engine button, hazards, and then your right self-cancelling indicator. Looking at the dials in front of you then, what I have noticed versus the Dyna Lowrider S is that these dials face more upwards to you, so I'm hoping that it's easier to see when you're riding round on the bike. You have then got your total miles, so at the moment it's 82. Going through the cycle button then, trip A 82.7, trip B, reserve, time, and that's it, guys. So a simple system to operate then with the Softail Lowrider S. Okay, so let's get into this. So what do I visually like about this bike? For me personally, those upside down forks look absolutely fantastic, and I obviously love the way now the bikes of the Softail range come with the LED. Comparing it, and we might as well do this, versus the Lowrider S Dyna, I do like the nostalgic look, but for me, this is what I really like. And actually, if you look at a lot of if you go on the Dyna Facebook pages, especially the Lowrider S page, you do see a lot of the guys and girls changing their front forks to emulate or to look more like this and actually perform like this as well. One of the key differences that I really want to find out today is that I remember with the Lowrider S going at, let's just say, a high speed, that the front end felt very light to me, almost to the point where I felt like I was losing traction. So it'll be interesting to see what the Softail Lowrider S is like as well. So moving to the engines then, the M8, I've always raved about the M8 engine. I love it, especially the 114. The twin cam, I do like the twin cam. The 110 I've had obviously with the Dyna Lowrider S, and I've had a 117. For me, I'm not a massive fan of that huge vibration. I do get it when people say they love that nostalgic feel, but I think you can have some, but then sometimes it's a little bit too much. One of the other things I have noticed about the engine, just where it sits, is that with the twin cam 110 you can see that there's quite a few areas that you can see through the bikes. There's a lot more gaps. And then when you look at the Softail, you can see that the engine's a lot more chunkier, really fills out the frame. So to me, it just looks a beefier bike. The other thing that I do prefer on the Softail is the wheels. I think the colour works a lot better with the black. I just felt that with this kind of, and I can't remember the official term that Harley called it, but a lot of people just referred to it as a shitty gold colour. I found that a lot of people were just modifying the wheels and changing the colour scheme. I actually did myself, had a lighter gold that was put on the bike, and it made it look so much better. The other thing that I do prefer is the dials on the Softail range. They are elevated more towards you. Compared to the Dyna Lowrider S, it's slightly flatter. So again, when you ride in, you constantly have to look down to see, well, how fast you're going. One of the things that they didn't put on the Softail, which for me is not a big deal, but for a lot of people I'm seeing that it is a big deal is the cruise control. So we haven't got it on the Softail, has got it on the Dyna Lowrider S. Last but not least, we've got twin shock and the mono shock. Personally, I think the suspension setup on the Softail is a lot better than the Dyna's. No question about it, the Softails handle better. That's it. Finally then moving towards the rear of the bike, the fenders. Oh, I don't know what this is about, but I can imagine because this was on the previous Softail or the standard Softail, it was just easier for Harley to follow it through. Obviously more cost effective, all those types of things. Much prefer the Dyna Lowrider S rear fender, but again, simple modification here and you can sort it all out, including this pizza box that my overseas friends keep on going on about. Side mounted number plate, job done. Okay, so for all you guys that are new to the channel, we'll be going down to a place called Beachy Head, a beautiful part of the UK down in England, south coast. Taking this bike through a couple of twisties, testing out manoeuvrability, the speed and all that stuff. So hope you enjoy, make sure you hit that like button. And actually guys, drop down your comments in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts. Okay. Let's go. So I've just been cruising on the bike for about a couple of minutes, just trying to get used to it. And I think one of the things that's drawing me back straight away is the nostalgia of being on a Lowrider S. And do you know what? I know people are going to debate around Dyna and Softail, but the fact is, when you've got a bike set up like this, with the tall risers, a good chunky engine in it with plenty of torque, all blacked out, man, it feels good. Super good. In terms of the ergonomics then, very similar to what I was talking about at the start of the vlog. My knees and my legs, they feel very high up into my chest. So for me, that's something I'd have to modify. I'd perhaps have to get some forward controls. But I do know, in comparison from the Dyna Lowrider S to this bike, the bars themselves are higher. As you guys know, I like high bars. But overall, am I enjoying this ride? Absolutely. And this 114, I just cannot wait to open it up. It's going to be sweet. So coming into the first part of the test, we got the roundabout. So we'll do a full 360 on this, just to see what the lean angle is like. I'm sure it's pretty nice overall. And what I do like about this bike is that it just feels so light. Really easy to maneuver, easy to steer. It's good. It's really, really good. And as we come out to the last part of the exit, let's just open it up and see what this engine is all about. Let's get on a bit of a straight. Here we go. Must admit, I like it a lot. Obviously with the stage 1 on it at the moment, it's giving it a little bit more power overall, but I just love the grunt of the engine. I love the sound. Just makes me feel like I'm on I was going to say a proper Harley, but you know what I mean. Coming into the roundabout there, and I just want to slice my way through here just to feel what the manoeuvrability is like on the bike. And then coming through like so, leaning hard right, bit of back end came out, and then off we go. Woo! I like that a lot. I felt like I could really commit to the bike as well. Wasn't too concerned about having brand new tyres on the bike. Well, we're up to about 94 miles, etc. But no, it felt super good, enjoyed it. As we're on this A road at the moment, one of the things that I'm looking for with the Softail range is that vibration part. I mentioned earlier in the vlog that when I had the Dyna Lowrider S, I did get a lot of vibration, especially with the 117. But on this bike at the moment, cruising at 60, it's decent. Nothing at all coming through. Nothing on the foot pegs either, which is really nice. So overall, that's a tick. The one thing that I would say, and I'm surprised I haven't mentioned this sooner, although they've elevated the dials slightly more upwards compared to the Dyna Lowrider S, when I'm actually looking down in the helmet, I cannot see the dials at all. So it's still a case of I'm having to look down to see those. Bit of a shame. I thought they would have sorted that out. As we move towards Beachy Head, coming into a couple of small urban twisties. I do like this part of the section because it just gives me an idea what it's like at low speeds, but in a good tight twisty formation, and it just feels really, really responsive. The one thing that I would say, guys, is that front brake is really good, really responsive. The back brake, not so. Need to tell the boys about that. And I think open up a bit here. And I think the reason for that is that you've got this S&S pedal on it, and it's just not great. But coming through here, man, that sound is just ringing through my ears. And I just feel that with this suspension, which is acting really good, I've just got so much confidence on this bike. Not overconfidence, let's not get that confused, but I just feel like this bike is going to support me massively. And it is, in my opinion, from a suspension and engine perspective, better than the Dyna Lowrider S. And this is the moment that I've been waiting for. Visor down. Okay, drop it to first. Rolling start up to 60. Let's do it. And we're there. This thing shifts. Love it. What an incredible bit of kit. For me, it's just complete nostalgia. Come on! Boo! And I know I'm probably the worst one to say this, but if you were buying this bike, oh, please try and keep it as stock as much as possible. And I know it's me that's saying this, but do you know what? It's just such a great stock bike. And I think about all the Harley Davidsons that I've test rode. You know, there's always something you've got to do, and it's not just one thing, it's 2, it's 3, it's 4, it's 5, it's 6, but just the slightest of touches on this, that's all you need. And some of the other things that are really standing out for me is just how light this clutch is, how easy it is to shift those gears. Oh, it's just a brilliant gearbox, I think. You're naughty! As we're moving towards Beachy Head, coming into the good twisty part of the test route. So coming up, we're going into a pretty tight right and then over into a left, and it gets really bumpy, so we're going to test the suspension nicely. So dropping it down, applying a bit of brake, watching the crap on the road, and then opening it up, coming into the left section, bit of brake, like so, nicely done. Open it up, and then we're coming over to the right section, which is super duper bumpy. Interesting to see how this handles. Lovely. And then make sure that I dodge this. Beautiful. But the bike, I mean, this section is meant to be super bumpy, but it's handling it absolutely amazing. In my opinion, that is the best experience I've had on this road on a stock Harley. Phenomenal. Honestly, absolutely phenomenal. And I just want to see on this part of the section how the front end feels. Does it feel light at all? There's only so much I can do on this, but it'd be interesting to see. God, this feels good. Super responsive. And then over here, beautiful, absolutely incredible. Okay, so we're coming over by the cliffs. It's tight right, and then it goes into a left. I bet the sea's looking choppy today. Got Spitfires overhead. They must know I'm here. Then into the left. Coming into the last part of the section. I mean, what is that Spitfire doing? Loop the loop. Then we're going to open it up. So coming into the final twisty section of the test route. So from memory, goes into a right, then a left, then a right again. So go drop it down into third gear. Keep those revs up as much as possible. Come into the right. Nice. I think this thing is just so easy to maneuver. Then left, I'm going to drop it down. Keep those revs on. Nice and tight, like so, and then open it up. Beautiful. So that brings me to a comfortable close on the Lowrider S. Overall, I think you guys could hear it in the vlog. I absolutely loved it. I think this is a perfect addition to the Softail range. I'm so glad that they reinvented the Lowrider S. They've done it classy, they've done it well. Look, the only thing that I can fault on this bike for me was very personal in terms of the mid controls, and I think the other aspect is that pizza box that's currently sitting on the rear fender, so that needs to go. But for something to come out stock, and yes, bear in mind I've got a stage 1 that's on this, and what a great example of how Harley Davidson can do things well, and they create something like this. So absolute great stuff. But as usual guys, thank you very much for watching, and make sure you all stay safe. Until the next time, and there will be a next time, I'll see you guys on the flip side. All the best. Motonewbrider.